What is up, everybody? Thank you for joining another episode of the Front Kick Fantasy Podcast. I'm Luke Jordan with the best friend, Nate Neal. What's going on, Nate?
What's going on, man?
Just
Back
another
at
day.
it again.
Oh yeah. Hey, holy shit, man! What do you think about this? What do you think about this past weekend?
Unbelievable, man. I was literally shouting at my monitor. It was one of the most surreal, most unbelievable, most happy UFC moments I've ever experienced, and I'm so glad that I watched it live and not on Instagram.
Yeah,
Just so happy
it's
about that.
definitely one of those moments you have to just take in. I mean, you got both of these guys on, like we mentioned in the last podcast, on incredible streaks,
Hmm.
and Leon just looked good in there. It looked like, obviously Kamaru, he was on his way to coast to a decision, but that's what I love about this sport, man. You cannot ever rule anybody out. It just takes one hit.
You cannot
And
turn off the TV.
I'll tell you what happened. We were at B Dubs and we caught the fight at B Dubs, and 5 seconds before he got the knockout, the signal went out, and I didn't get to see it, but we pulled up the highlights, and it was crazy. We were there from the last fight, the feature prelim, and it was truly sensational. It was crazy.
Damn those B-dubs Wi-Fi servers or whatever the hell they
Yeah,
got going on there. Damn DirecTV.
yeah. Tell me about it. But let's get into what we're going to be talking about a little bit today. So obviously, we're going to talk about that juicy welterweight division. It's definitely got to talk about it now. Definitely going to be a big topic of the show. We also got some fight news from the man himself, Tony Ferguson, the guy we were talking about on the last podcast. And then we got some more big news, a big announcement at the end of the podcast. So you guys make sure you stick around, and we'll make sure to let you guys know about that. But let's get right into it. You ready?
Yeah, let's do it, man.
All right, man. So what do we do at welterweight?
All right, this is exactly what we're gonna freaking do. All right, so automatically, okay, assuming that Kamzat wins this fight against Nate Diaz, which I know anything can happen. We were talking about that earlier, literally just a second ago. But if this happens, okay, this is an immediate match for Colby Covington. And I already said this in the last podcast. I told you that that would be one of my fantasies. I don't know why Dana put him with Nate. I don't exactly know. I don't even know why the hell it's a damn main event. All right, let's be honest. But as soon as the outcome of that match depicts Colby's next fight, in my opinion, if if Kamzat does not win, who does Colby go with next? Maybe Gilbert Burns, maybe the winner of Muhammad and Sean Brady. I mean, who knows? Or maybe he goes with Leon. Okay. Do we want another Usman match? I don't know. Maybe. I don't know what the outcome would be of that, but let's hear your input on this.
Yeah, I love it. I love the options that are on the table right now. Of course, you've even got Jorge Masvidal chopping at the bits on Twitter, which I don't know if he is so deserving. I think that maybe at least maybe feed him the winner of Bilal and Sean Brady. But yeah, man, it's definitely exciting. Also saw where Wonder Boy Thompson's supposed to be fighting Shavkat Rakhmonov here in a couple months, and we'll get into all the legends getting taken down here later in the show.
I got
But
some shit to say.
yeah, so let's start off by yeah, I'm thinking that there's going to be an immediate rematch. We've been seeing this trend going on throughout the UFC, and I don't know. I think that what's going to happen within the top five, we're going to see a rematch between Usman and Leon Edwards. You saw Kamaru Usman. He's already taken to Twitter. He's accepted the defeat. He congratulated Leon, and he said that he'll be back better than ever. I guess we'll just have to see that. Excuse me. But however, like you said, you like you said on the last podcast, Hamzat and Kobe is your dream fight, and we're inching closer and closer to that becoming a reality. because in all reality, Colby hasn't lost to anybody other than Usman in the top 10, top 10, top 5, top 3, whatever. But you feed somebody like that, like Kamzat to Colby, that'll be a good fight, and I think that'll answer a lot of questions within the welterweight division. But yeah, like you said, we've still got Sean Brady, Bilal Muhammad. Bilal's on a streak of his own. Sean Brady, big up and comer in the UFC in the top 10. I'm excited for that one to pan out. I believe that one's going to be taking place in Abu Dhabi as well, on Fight Island. So that'll be fun. Yeah, man, I'm excited though. I think that
It's just a cluster, man. It's just a
yeah,
cluster.
I mean, I could not imagine being Sean Shelby and Dana White right now, just trying to plan out all this stuff and see how everything goes. But yeah, my bet would probably be on that immediate rematch, and then maybe pan out a matchup between Colby and Kamzat if he wins. But what happens if Nate wins? What do we do? Does he walk? What I mean, nobody knows. Does he walk away? Does
I don't
he
know.
does he sign and fight for a title? I could see something like that happening, but I don't know. We've already seen a 5-round fight between Leon and Nate, and without that little spark in the 5th round, I don't know if I want to see that again. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It was
Yeah.
pretty dominant win by Leon. So who knows? This welterweight division is getting close to being one of the most exciting ones in the UFC, and I'm excited to see how it pans out.
Me too.
But,
So with that, let's hear it. Let's hear your top five. Welterweight in the welterweight division. Let's hear the top five.
so my top 5 in the welterweight division right now, I'm gonna go. Obviously, you got to go with the champ, Leon. You can't take away Kamaru Usman. So my one's gonna be Leon. My two's gonna be Usman, and then 3 I'm gonna put Hamzat Shemaev, just because of what he's done to everybody in that division. Sure, you have an argument of Gilbert Burns giving him a really good fight, potentially fight of the year, and then you have Colby Covington. That's gonna be my 4th. And then at five, I'm gonna have to go get with Gilbert Burns, just because Gilbert Burns gave Hamzat that really good fight, and he kind of showed the UFC world, the MMA community, that Hamzat can be broken and he can be hit, and so you have to give credit where credit's due.
Yes, you're correct. So I'm gonna go along with that. So ours is kind of similar, but not exactly. In the championship spot, obviously we're gonna go with Leon, obviously. And just because of one mess up doesn't mean you're gonna drag Usman down the ranking. So he's gonna go with I'm gonna put him at the number 1 contender. The number 2 contender, I know I've got to take up for my guy. I know that he hasn't been in literally any serious fights recently, but I think that just because he's taken a shot at a restaurant and then chipped a tooth, I don't think that's going to make him any worse. I think I'm going to have Colby as the second contender. With that, though, I am going to put Kamzat at 3. At the 4 spot, I have a slash. I have a slash. I have a tie. Because that is all going to depict when they do, in fact, fight. I'm going to have Bilal Muhammad and Sean Brady in that 4 spot. I think that they both deserve to be pretty high up in the rankings. I mean, Sean's literally undefeated. Muhammad's on that slant that's going up. And at number 5, I've got Gilbert Burns. So those are my rankings. If you have any better rankings, please comment them down below.
And
So
that's a pretty tight rope right there. I mean, you can argue Sean Brady, obviously undefeated, like you said. Bilal, he's coming off a few great wins. I know his most recent one was that decision win over Vicente Luque. But then we saw what happened with him against Jeff Neal. Jeff Neal's up and coming too. Who knows who he's get next? That'll be fun. Maybe a potential banger fight with Gilbert Burns. That'd be a lot of fun. I know that's been in the talks. But yeah, I mean, I'm super excited to see how the welterweight pans out within the next 9 months to a year. It's gonna be a lot of fun. But all right, do you want to trickle us into our next topic?
talk about Tony Ferguson's future. What do you think about it?
So what happened on the weekend? I don't know. I think this might be one of the top three surprising events. I mean, you have so many storylines, so much potential to line up Tony Ferguson with all of these guys that are more of a, let's say, X-rated caliber. All of these guys that are legends as well. Like I mentioned, maybe a potential fight with Dan Hooker. I don't know if Tony's against dropping weight now. He dropped weight to fight Michael
That's
Chandler.
what I'm saying. Why is he going up?
He's going to 170. Maybe he feels better up there at welterweight. Surely enough, he's not going to have a title. He's never going to have a title run up there at welterweight. I mean, putting him in there with a guy such as the Leech, Li Jingliang, I mean, that's a tough bout for him, especially when he's on his way out. And Li Jingliang, I mean, you saw him get dominated by Hamzat, but then he had a really nice finish there a couple weeks ago. I don't remember what, I think it might have been on the Long Island card. I'm not 100% sure, but we watched him fight a couple weeks ago, and he looked pretty good. So I don't see the reason behind that. I don't see why Dana White and the guys would make that fight happen. What do you think about Tony Ferguson versus the Leech?
So like I've already said, I don't really know why he's going up to 170. Because he already had a rank spot at lightweight. He did. With the loss to Michael Chandler, he was still in the number 9 spot, I believe.
Nine, anywhere from 9 to 13, I think. I think it was 9, but
regardless, okay, he was ranked. Going up to welterweight, and now he's literally going to fight the number 15 ranked welterweight. And yeah, he did get embarrassed by Khamzat. Doesn't matter. I mean, this guy isn't bad. I think this is one of those things where, and it's not as much of the Nate Diaz and Khamzat. About said Khamzat. It's not that deal because it's similar, but it's not the exact same because you've got Nate Diaz who is in fact on his way out, from what we know. And then, oh well, here's your ticket out. You got to fight this up and coming bastard that's literally, shocking this weight division. So in this case, it's kind of like, okay, well, you were ranked, but since you're going up, you're not going to be ranked now. And now you've got this other ticket that's not as hard as Nate Diaz, but it's starting to sound like a pattern. That's what I'm getting at. It's starting to sound like a pattern. It's like, oh, if you want this ticket out, well, you're going. And then we'll get into this on that last topic, but talking about people on their way out. But that I don't know exactly if this is Tony Ferguson's last match or like upcoming last match, whatever. But we're looking at a very weird situation in my opinion.
yeah, no, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, you don't know, who knows what the future holds for him. Like, what's next? If he wins, what's gonna be going next with that?
So many questions.
He gonna start building a contention at welterweight for however long it lasts? Is he gonna go back down to 55, try and fight another contender down there? It's definitely interesting.
Yeah, but I don't see it. I really don't. But at the same time, I'm not Tony Ferguson. I don't know what he's thinking. Some people just have that heart, but don't have the physique that they used to. So
there's something about that bleach blonde hair, man, that I don't know. It's
maybe I don't know. I don't know if changing your hair color works, but apparently it does for Sean O'Malley. So,
well, we saw what Sean O'Malley did to Chris Mutino when he got that green hair. So let's not get too
yes.
Let's not get too crazy about the fucking all the colored hair. So
everybody's just trying to be 6'9" at this point.
Yeah, don't be messing with my boy Sean like that. But anyways, so yeah, let's go ahead and transfer into let's do the segment, or let's do our fantasy our front kick fantasy fights that we want to see. I know last week we did what was that? I did Dan Hooker and Tony. Obviously that was not panning out. Yours is on the up and coming with Khamzat Kobe. And then I landed Gaethje and Fiziev, which I've seen a little bit more speculation about that, so I'm gonna hold on to that. So yeah, let's go into some fantasy front kick fights that you want to see.
So, depending on Marvin Vittori's, we're gonna move up a weight class, but depending on Marvin Vittori's um, result between him and who is it, Robert Whitaker?
Robert Whitaker, yeah, they're fighting.
I want to see him and Derek Brunson. I think that both of them have had their fair share of losses, but they're both competitive athletes. I don't at all really like Marvin Vittori. I just don't. I don't think anybody does, to be honest. Matter of fact, every time I see that freaking Facebook ad to buy their damn sweatshirts or whatever, and he's on there. It's him and huh.
Calvin Cater, I believe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, no, yeah, and I'm surprised he didn't put on his clothes backwards because you saw his Venom shorts were. I think the clothing people got a little too jacked up the night before because he didn't really couldn't tell his shorts were on backwards.
Right.
But yeah, so yeah, is that the only one you got for us today?
No, I've got one more.
Okay.
This one, we're actually going to switch it all up. I don't think we've had a single fantasy matchup for women yet, so I'm going to go ahead and break that real quick. I want to see a Shevchenko and Santos rematch.
Okay.
So I believe that Santos surprised her at first, and maybe Valentina was kind of, just off her training or something's going on. Maybe she just underestimated her. Ronda Rousey did that.
Yep.
But at the same time, Valentina did in fact come out with the win. She didn't shit the bed like Ronda. I want to see a rematch between them. I want to see both of them at their fullest, 100%. And I don't know if Valentina was there. And hell, I don't even know if Santos was there. She put on a damn good fight, but in the end, and
Yeah.
so I would really like to see another rematch between them. So that's what
Yeah.
I've got.
I like that a lot. Now I'm actually gonna bank off of that and switch over to my fight, my fantasy pick that I have for a fight I want to see. Man, on Saturday before the pay-per-view started, I was sitting down here and I was watching the fight. I was watching the PFL championships, and I watched Kayla Harrison. Let me tell you, Kayla Harrison is a dog. She's fighting right now 155, and I would love for her to cross over and fight either if she fights in the UFC, fighting the Nunes for that 145-pound strap, or fighting Chris Cyborg just in an open fight.
Oh, so now we're reaching out to other companies now. Okay.
145, 155. Man, let me tell you, Kayla Harrison is a problem. And she stated that she is the number one, not PFL women's fighter. She is the number one female mixed martial artist in the world. And honestly, with that dominant win last weekend, I see it. I would love to see that fight. Second fight, it's going to be in the bantamweight division. I'm going to have to go with Dominic Cruz and Frankie Edgar. I would love to see this fight transpire. I know it's might be a little too late, but I would love to see this fight take place. Maybe the opening match of the main card at MSG. I would love for that to happen. I'd love for them to fight at MSG. They're both on their way out. What better way to give it to the fans, to give it to themselves? They deserve it. And just kind of brawl it out. And I mean, that's one of those fights that I wouldn't be surprised if both sets of gloves were in the middle of the octagon after they squared away for 15 minutes. And yeah, Dominic Cruz and Frankie Edgar, that's a fight I really want to see. Both of them got knocked out by Cheeto, but both of them have been legends. You cannot forget what they both did. And yeah, that's a fight I want to see. So with that being said, you want to go ahead and transfer us over into this last segment for us?
Yep, it's a controversial one, but we're going to talk about it because I don't care. So what is the reasoning? And I don't think that this is being addressed enough. I follow many UFC shit posts and meme posts and just conversations on Facebook and all these other social medias. And it seems like I haven't even seen like these people talk about it, but I really want to know, why is Dana White putting on fights of legends, old legends, Hall of Famer contenders with upcomers, with people who are on the incline. Okay. Why is this happening? I don't know. I don't understand. I don't know if it's because, oh, well, if they see this name, we're going to get a bunch of money from this because everybody's going to tune in. But this isn't just one example. This isn't just what we saw this past weekend with Paulo Costa and
Rockhold.
Luke Rockhold. Yeah, this isn't just with that. This is also with JJ and Wei Ling. Is that yeah, however you say her name. That, and we've got Alexander Gustafsson.
Yeah.
Okay, and honestly, I wouldn't. It's hard to put some of these older guys like Tony Ferguson in that concept because he is still ranked, and same with Dominic Cruz. They're both still ranked, but guess what? They hadn't fought in a while.
Yeah.
Okay,
No,
so
yeah, I
so
get it.
why is he doing this?
No, I get it. The only thing that I could think of is, I mean, the famous quote, man, the show must go on. I mean, yeah, it sucks. You see these people that have been ruling in the UFC for a while, and it's gonna probably still continue. I was actually thinking about that the other day. It's like you see these champions right now, Ngannou. You've got obviously Jiri, all these dominant champions. You got I mean, Oliveira was kind of a flip flop. He was dominated in the beginning of his career, and then he found that notch, and now he's such a dominant champion now. Well, technically, I still rate him as champion. And then you've got obviously Usman, which converted to Leon. Although I mean, I can name them all. At some point, these guys are going to be they're going to be getting chased by these fish that are going to eventually be bigger than they are. I mean, this sport, it's a dog eat dog world. I mean, you've got to. I mean, it doesn't matter if you have a number by your name, you're going to be called out, and you're gonna. I mean, they're going to want to make that fight. Yes, I do think that it has some kind of speculation to do, like you said, with the money. You put somebody with a name out there, they're going to make money on a pay-per-view. But the show goes on. I mean, yes, all these legends are out here. I don't agree with it. I think, but for example, at 155, there's been speculation. We've seen Paddy Pimblett and Terrence McKinney going back and forth, talking about how they should fight at some point. What makes the most sense? Do you put them together now and then spoil a mega fight in the future, or do you separate their paths and then have them conjoin once they have that number by their name, or once they have the single
Well,
digit number?
and you can, and yeah, you can put it that way, but also, I mean, to me, it can matter, but it also can't because Usman and Leon fought a long time ago before they were, thought of.
Absolutely, and then the same thing
So
with Connor and Dustin. And
exactly
I mean, yes, but how often do you see that as compared to like what we're talking about right now? You've got
right.
these
You
pillars
you want to
coming in.
hype it up. You want to build the
Yes,
whole thing. I get
yes,
I get that. I get that.
yeah. Um, and also Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno, they fought before. I mean,
I
the
want a
list.
third. I do want a third, by the way.
I'd like a third, but I think KKF has a little bit of work to do until
Yeah,
he can get back up there. Especially, I think Moreno. I think Moreno is going to beat Figgy in that fourth fight.
I hope so.
Even though it's speculated to be in Rio, I think that Brandon Moreno is going to take it. I think that he's a better technical fighter and he wants it a little bit more. That's just me, um, but yeah, I mean, I don't agree with everything that they're doing as far as booking these guys with absolute killers, but it must go on. And if they can't hang anymore, then Bellator's right next door, huh?
I mean, really. I mean, you like I said earlier, you've got a fighter's heart, okay, and you've
Mm-hmm.
got a fighter's physique, okay. Those are two different things because you can have as much heart as you want, but you know, as time goes on, your bones are going to be aching, your muscles are going to be aching. That's how life works. So,
Absolutely.
and somehow Glover Teixeira is not it doesn't
He's
give a
just
shit.
an exception.
He's
Yeah.
just, yeah, that's an exception. All right. But other than that, that's how life works. All right.
Yeah.
Just that's
I'm gonna throw you a curveball really quick. I'm gonna throw you a curveball really quick. Do you follow? I don't know if you follow any bare knuckle fighting championships or anything like that, but
I've seen a few.
so you had Platinum Mike Perry against Michael Venom Page this weekend. Michael Venom Page, obviously a pretty dominant champion in Bellator. Mike Perry, he was somewhat relevant in UFC, but they've had this comparison Bellator to UFC for a while. And Mike Perry went out there and he dropped him. I think at least once. I didn't get to follow it. I just watched the highlights on it. But Mike Perry got the. They went to overtime. Mike Perry got the majority decision, I believe it was, in overtime. So he beat arguably one of the best fighters in Bellator in the past couple years. And Mike Perry wasn't really relevant in the UFC. So I think that slander needs to stop as far as the comparison. I know you got Nurmagomedov over there in Bellator, but I think if he knows what's best for him, he'll come over to the UFC because that's where all the money's at. All the money.
No, that's what I was gonna say.
But it comes with fame. I mean, you got to look at the family background. You got Habib. Obviously, you got Usman already there. Yeah, I mean, everybody. They're all together. I think that you'll see that other Nurmagomedov coming through relatively quickly. But well, you got anything else before we give us this big news, this big announcement?
I think I'm good. Who is going to be our next guest? Who is going to be our first guest on the podcast?
All right, y'all. So for those of you that are watching that are not from our hometown, just go ahead and exit out of the podcast. Give us a 5-star rating. But for our first guest on the Front Kick Fantasy podcast, we decided not to go with a fighter. We're still reaching out to a few. I know it's hard. I'm sure you guys know how it feels. But the first guest for the Front Kick Fantasy podcast is going to be one of our near and dear friends. He's a big UFC fan. And he's been begging to come on the show ever since we decided we were going to do it. So we're going to have Hunter Niebergall on the show on Saturday. And he's so excited. He's going to come in for a segment and we're going to just let him talk away so you guys can meet him and everything. But we're super excited about it.
Can't wait. Cannot wait. Good guy.
I can't wait either. Well, Mr. Name Neal, it's been one hell of a second episode. You guys know what to do. Keep following us on Twitter, FRNT Kick Fantasy, and then on YouTube, Front Kick Fantasy Podcast. Your guys' support just in the past week has meant a lot to us. We're gonna start getting some merch organized around here, and then we're gonna bring some good content to you guys. I think we got a few fighters we're trying to line up and stuff. Not gonna spoil anything. But don't wanna. We're trying to keep all of our eggs in one basket, right?
Yep, that's right.
All right, Nate, you got anything else for us?
I'm good, man.
All right, man. It's been one hell of a show. We'll talk to y'all on Saturday.
See you, boys.
Peace. Later.